nokurumbidzai Mwari Baba mweya anogaramatira.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you from around the world. And welcome to HMG Network, broadcasting from the Greater Washington Metropolitan. I am Freeman Sengiran-Kabo, your host, and this is African State of Union. For those of you who are just tuning in for the very, very first time, especially if you're tuning in from a mobile phone or social platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or what have you, we want to give you a huge, huge welcome. We want to say welcome, and first and foremost, we want to say go right ahead and make sure that you subscribe at the very bottom. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there is either subscribe, follow, share, and like, and definitely make sure that you hit that bell. Why? Because we want you to get all the information that we put out in real time when it comes, especially when we are live like right now, so you can be able to not only follow us, but also join us, interact with us as the conversation goes on. And we are really, really excited that you guys have taken the time to come and joining us. We are not going to disappoint you. Secondly, in our zone here, we are the truth, we are the trust, and we are the love. Those are the qualities by which you can measure the value of the contents that we will be sharing with you. With that in mind, today I've got two things that I want to talk to you about. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is the burial of the late Zimbabwean President Mugabe, and last but not the least, this 74th United Nations General Assembly meeting that's been taking place up in New York. And with that in mind, let's just jump right in, guys. And I just cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say. Oh yeah, before I do forget, we also do have that WhatsApp number. Make sure that you hit it, send us your comment in real time so we can be able to interact with you. Send us, make sure that you can record yourself a video or an audio. Let's make this thing interactive. Guys, I cannot stress enough. This is our programming, our content, which means this is your content. We want to make sure that the things of which are more relevant to you comes to you via your mobile phone, via whatever platforms that you are on. So we're changing this thing, guys. No bull. So with that in mind, guys, let's jump right in. So today, for those of you guys who are not familiar with, the late former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, was finally put to rest today on Saturday, September the 28th, in his hometown. His hometown is called. Where are you? Where did I write you on? I know it's in Zumba. Oh yeah, it's in Kutama. Now that I remember, in Kutama, Zumba. So he was put to rest today after almost 28, actually almost a month, really. Since he passed, almost a month since he's passed. And as you would imagine, and for some of you who do not know, there were some back and forth as far as where he was supposed to be put to rest between the government and his own family. And it was absolutely something to commend that the government allowed his family to have the final say as to where the late President Mugabe was to be put to rest. And it's super fantastic. It is great that this finally took place. Guys, when I look at this, especially in the case of this former President Mugabe, have open mind in ways that you look at these things. I am addressing you and I am speaking from the United States. I'm an African by birth, but I'm a son of these great United States as well. So with that in mind, for these past 240 plus years, 243 years, the United States has had so many presidents. And I want to challenge all of you Africans. Check on the history of this country. See whether there've ever been any query as to where the president was to be buried and who was to do what. in this country, in the United States. That has never been such a huge fight, to the extent that the population of the country became torn apart. So with that in mind, also, when you look at the status of the late President Mugabe, he was considered as the founding father of Zimbabwe. Whether you like it or not, he was, because he was a part of the group, the people who brought about Zimbabwe as most people know of it today. And with that in mind, he represented this country. He represented Zimbabwe. He represented the institution. So don't look at him just on a personal basis, the same way you would not look at George Washington as just a mere person. Yes, he was a person, but these people represented a country. They represented the institution. So when you look at them in the capacity of a representative of a country and a representative of an institution, you've got to acknowledge that those positions represented something bigger than just one individual or a small group of people. And with that in mind, he, just like the president here in the United States, ought to receive the respect that comes along with being in the capacity of leading a country, of representing an institution. And I hope that you, brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe or Africa, all right, who looked at him as just a thing, remember that this man represented a country for 37 years. Whether he represented this country as a dictator or as any one of the labors that he's received, he still represented a country. Right now, if you look back in the United States of America, from the day one that the country became an independent country, all these presidents who have led the United States, they have had a history, the same way Zimbabwe or these African countries have history. So with that in mind, when you look at the history and you study very carefully how the history came to be, I can absolutely guarantee you will never find a white, snow white color in the acts, the activities, and the things that these people have done. And with that in mind, what he has done and what this president have done, they have done them in the name of an institution, in the name of a country. By the way, we have elected these presidents. You, the folks in Zimbabwe, have elected that president. So I do believe that at the end of the day, it is very imperative that you hold your institution higher in everything that you do. Hold it very high. That way, you do not forget that everything that you do, if a president does wrong, for example, and you start shooting him as just one little teeny person and don't see what he's doing, what he's leading, then there is something big that you're missing out of the whole entire big picture. So with that in mind, I don't really want to bore you or to go too deep into this. It is really good that the Zimbabwean finally put this old man to rest, the late President Robert Mugabe. As a president, he must be put to rest in respect, because he was the founding of that country, of Zimbabwe, whether you like it or not. If you look at the American presidents, whether they did good or bad, when they passed, the country gave them the respect that they have earned as the president of this country. They put him to rest. And so Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans and friends of Zimbabwe, you all gotta look at the same thing equally. A president is a president. That's a high office. Now, whether you do good or bad when you're in it, that's completely something different. But you must be able to remember that the institution is there to do bigger things than just one individual. And if that institution is not working the way you as a people would like it to work, then it is a duty of you as a people to make changes accordingly. And I think that today we are seeing in plain sight how the things that we either admire or completely dislike is affecting us, especially as Africans. You as Zimbabweans, since right now I'm talking about Zimbabweans, the things that have taken place, you participated in it, whether you actively participated in or didn't participate in, you, bottom line, you participated in. It is a responsibility of any citizen to participate in what's going on in their countries. And if you do not participate, then you also must take responsibility of what comes in afterwards. But guys, nothing but love in here. And like I say, we would like to talk frankly to one another as brothers and sisters. And in truth, absolutely, we love all of you guys. I love you, my peoples, my Zimbabwean friends and families. I truly love you guys. So the things of which are happening in your country today, y'all gotta take care of yourselves. Not the United States, not Canada, not France, not UK. You guys gonna have to take care of yourselves. So bottom line. So thank you guys for putting to rest your founding father, the late President Mugabe. That is something great that you guys have done, despite the challenges that you have gone through when you did that. And also, we've seen how the family wanted to have a private burial, and the government wanted something else different. And eventually, things did come out to what the family wanted and wished. And it's great that you guys didn't fight over that. Come on, we gotta rise above these things, and look a bigger picture and look farther than that. And also, if I want to go right ahead and touch the elephant in the room, I have spoken to a lot of Zimbabweans, which will be the first category, and then the non-Zimbabweans who have a passion for the country, for Zimbabweans. Boy, did I learn! I learned so much about what had gone on for those 37 years. Now, I'll be frank with you. I have not researched every single one of those years to fact checks, to do fact check of everything that I learned, but I've learned a whole lot of it. And with that in mind, the elephant in the room, President Mugabe was loved and hated by many. And I think that comes with the territory of being a president of a country. The same way, if you look here right now in our country, every single president who assumes office, he always have a side that loves what he does and another side that doesn't love what he does, because it is absolutely difficult to please everyone. And so with that in mind, it should be at no surprise that Mugabe, as the president, had both enemies and friends. But also there were some serious acts or some serious historical, I would say, period in Zimbabwe that most of the Zimbabweans are remembering of this old man who passed on by. And I think that is your history as Zimbabweans. Today, you cannot be ashamed that I'm not a Zimbabwean no more. I was born in Rwanda. Look at us in Rwanda in 1994. We had a genocide, bro. We had a genocide in Rwanda. And this genocide wiped out so many brothers and sisters of the Tutsi ethnicity, by which, countless lives. Even in my whole family, many people passed on. When I look at that, I cannot say, I'm ashamed to be a Rwandese. I was born Rwandese. I got Rwandese blood in me. That is a history that I will forever carry with me, anyway that I will go. So you've got to learn to accept your history. It makes you who you are today. So these past 37 years that the man had ruled the country, whether you participated or not, You suddenly participated or you actively participated. Bottom line, those 37 years went on by. So the things that have gone through, good or bad, should be the lessons today for you guys to decide as to where do you want your country going next. But you got to remember also, every time you allow someone to manage your country, if you give someone the permission to manage your affairs, then you are responsible for the result of for the result that comes out of those, that management. Frankly speaking, and even today, I was reading what's going on in your country. Man, it's hard. I was reading. I'll just share with you guys just a little bit, and it sort of baffled me. I could not believe, and I know that this is a little bit off topic, but I feel like I need to share with you guys. Anyway, so just yesterday, I was reading the news from Zimbabwe. Man, you talk about poverty. Things are happening that are squeezing the people. Now, granted, there is sanction in your country. Granted, the things are bad. A sugar, 1 kilogram, it costs roughly about $12, 12 United States dollars. 1 kilo of brown sugar. Listen, it's like go to the marketplace, to the superstore here, just to get a little bit of sugar. Man, $12. What kind of sugar are they selling? I mean, they're killing people here. So that's brown sugar. And so the sugar price, it is just crazy over there. The prices are super high on the basic food, the basic needs in the house. And you look at it, you wonder, okay, so why are these things happening to you guys? Zimbabweans, you guys are super smart. Do something about these things. Do not look at the outside. Do not look at the United States to come and fix this. So put it this way, and I know that you may or may not agree with me, but in my own house, if I go hungry today, I cannot look at my neighbor to come and take care of my bills. Now, if my neighbor does help me out every once in a while, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? All right, since he got me, let me keep on milking my neighbor. And you guys got to get out of that. Man, the country, the whole entire country, you cannot tell me that sugar, 1 little kilogram, $12. What is that? What is that, Zimbabweans? Y'all got to do something about that. Not the United States, not Europe, not UK. And if you're waiting on the United States to come and do something, man, you guys are in trouble. And we got to talk about that, y'all. Not just you Zimbabweans. Right now, we so happen to be talking about Zimbabwe. But Africa, bro, the US is not going to be feeding us. The UK is not going to be feeding us. It is time for all of us, y'all, to start feeding ourselves. So if you want me to come and manage your house, then you also are giving me the permission to do whatever it is that I want to do in your house. That's really what you're doing. So you all got to learn how to create resiliency, firewall, such that you can be able to feed yourself from the resources within your own country. Man, Zimbabwe and you are rich, super rich. It's about time, roll your sleeves, y'all. Roll your sleeve and do for you. You guys got to listen to what the rest of these presidents around the world are saying to their own citizens and take some notes. Man, if you must cheat, cheat. Take some good notes from all the good stuff that's taking place and actually implement it in your own country. You absolutely don't need the rest of the world to come at your rescue. It'll be tough to get started, but y'all can do it, y'all. And I'm really also talking about all Africans. Guys, we are young. We are absolutely young. It's time, y'all. We gotta stop opening our mouth and just waiting on someone to feed us. We've been super handicapped, and we got 2 legs, we got 2 arms, 2 eyes, 1 head, just like everybody is in the United States, just like everybody is in the UK, just like everybody is in France or Germany or Asia. What's wrong with us? We gotta stop doing for selves a lot of these things. We can do it. We used to do it. Now tell me, before the United States was a country, before European countries were European countries, how are Africans feeding themselves? Just go back and think. How are they living? How are they sustaining themselves? We gotta go back, yo. Check your history. Check your history. Start doing for self. Start doing the things that benefit you as a people, as Zimbabweans, and stop bickering. Nobody's gonna be perfect. There's not a single perfect person in this whole planet Earth. So whether your brother or sister has imperfections, embrace those imperfections. It's best to know what kind of imperfections that they have, so that you know how to deal with them, so that you know how to manage them. And so I know you guys are not exceptions. We're not exceptions either. Look at us here in the United States. Our imperfection is all up in everybody's televisions every single day. But that doesn't keep us from moving on forward and do what must be done. Hey, y'all need to cheat, man. Y'all need to cheat if you must cheat. But I know you have this ingenious, this head of yours, super smart. You got the genes and you got the blood that have all the genius in you. Use it. Start using it and stop crying. So that's what I gotta say. And I'm super passionate about this, y'all. As Zimbabweans, y'all gotta do what you gotta do. Africans, especially y'all young people, man, y'all need to support your own country. You can't be flying Europe, you can't be flying United States. Man, let me not get started, y'all. But I just gotta say that even if you have nothing, that's your nothingness. Think of what you want and bring it to life. If you can think of it, you can get it done. By the way, you absolutely don't need all these degrees that they say that you can only do things when you have degrees. Again, look in this country. Look the inventions that took place before even the universities were there. So we already have the gifts inside of us, y'all. We have the gifts to do amazing things, to do marvelous works. So if you're hiding behind a degree, but then that degree doesn't produce anything, you are really no use. You are no good. You're just like someone who doesn't have a degree. So don't let that fool you, y'all. Do what needs to be done and do it with zeal and do it with proud. Get it all done. So my people in Zimbabwe, I love you guys. I really love you. Get your house in order. If y'all need some help, tell us. We'll come and help y'all. But at the same time, I cannot also I cannot downplay the fact that there are a lot of you who are crying. And in fact, in the next show, we have invited a few Zimbabweans to share with us what's happening from the ground. Because if we don't talk about these things, we will be living in a big lie. And we don't want to live in a big lie. We've been living in a big lie for so long, and we've got to stop, especially as young people, y'all. I mean, it's like the Matrix. We live in the Matrix, and we are super oblivious to everything else that happens outside of it. And we got to get out of that. So with that in mind, let's move on to our next topic, guys. But I just want to say thank you guys for for giving your president a burial. That man, regardless of his imperfections, he represented a country. He represented an institution. He represented you as Zimbabweans. Bottom line, for the past 37 years. How do I know it? The rest of the world accept the fact that he represented you. And if you really, really want to scrutinize the record for those past 37 years, I challenge you to look at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in your country. Find out how many countries had relationship and still have a relationship with your country today. Those countries have been with you since Mugabe's presidency up until when he passed on, and they're still friends, probably with the current government today. So give them also the credit for all the good things and all the bad things that had taken place. Because as you know it, as Africans, we have been relying on so many external forces, external help. So when you want to give a credit, good and bad, be sure that it just doesn't be given to just one person. In these cases, your president. But your president did not absolutely do everything in the country. He all helped, good and bad. So if you all want to talk real and if you all want to talk frank, just remember, y'all, you are one Zimbabweans. The external forces, they want you to keep on fighting. Young people, you got to stop that. You absolutely must stop that. In any case, this is all love to you guys. This is absolutely all love. And I do hope that you do understand where I'm coming from as another son of Africa. And by the way, guys, hit our WhatsApp message. If you want to talk, if you want to join this conversation, please, we want to invite you right now as it's happening. Send us your comments either via WhatsApp, or you can actually join through our video conference. Get on the studio, feed. Let's talk, like for real. This is one of the conversations we're going to be having with this particular show, African State of Union, because, guys, we want to talk as one people. We want to talk as one youth. We want to talk as one mind about African issues and provide African solutions. We can do it because we're doing it elsewhere we go. We're providing solutions to all these other countries all over the world. Why can we not provide solutions for ourselves in Africa? Make Africa as beautiful as the rest of these worlds that we're participating in every single day. So guys, I want to thank you as my friends, good friends in Zimbabweans. This is nothing but love, y'all. I invite you to come and correct me. Put me straight if you must, but let's talk. I love you very, 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 very much. Moving on
of course, those rights, as we are giving you this feed with pride, held by the hand alongside
Welcome to the second part of the African State of Union. I'm Freeman Sengiran-Kabo, and we just want to give you a huge welcome for those of you who are just joining us for the first time in our zone here. As you know, this is a zone where we are the truth, the trust, and the love. And this is the benchmarks by which you can measure the value of the content that we share in our zone. So welcome to all of you guys. If you're joining us, especially from mobile phones, social platforms, be sure to subscribe. Why? Because we want you to absolutely be aware of every time we are uploading any new video or when we are live like right now, so you can be able to interact with us in real time. We want you also to get in the habit of fact checking everything that we say. Guys, I cannot stress how much we are at the time in an era where there's so much information that only you can contribute to your own ignorance. What does that mean? If we say something that doesn't add up right, it is really your responsibility to fact check that someone, not us, because we're feeding you some garbage. But for the love of all our people out there, guys, this is our zone. Let's share information. Hit us on that WhatsApp line. Send us your information, either be a video, audio, a text, an image, whatever it is you want us to discuss. We will discuss it. You can also join our conference, our studio conference line, so that we can actually feature you on this conversation in real time. We are going to own this conversation. We are going to bring forth the conversations, the issues, and the solutions relevant to us, relevant to our everyday life. This is a part of what we will be doing here on the African State of Union show. So guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. And as we go into the next part of the program today, we want to talk about the 74th United Nations General Assembly, which has been taking place in New York City, here in the United States, this whole week. I don't know if some of you, especially I'm referring to young people, even our fathers, mothers, grandpas, those older audience, I am very mindful that you are there, that you are out there. But young people, you must follow these things. This is a huge world arena where your life is being, for the lack of better word, gambled by these world leaders. If you have no idea what your representative in your respective country is telling the world about you as an envoy on your behalf, are you going to cry that they're stepping on your shoes later? So let's get involved in what's happening in our countries. Let's get involved in what's happening in our communities, and certainly be involved in what's happening in your own house. And from those lenses, we will be able to keep tabs of everything that is relevant to us. So speaking of this, I just want to give a shout out to the people from Somalia, Ethiopia, and Zimbabweans. Man, you guys have shown some love to your presidents and your representatives. I was shocked. If you check out the videos and the media sites all over the internet, you guys have really showed up. You showed love to to your representative, to your presidents, to your prime ministers, to your foreign affairs ministers. You guys have really showed up. Lastly, but not the least, Prime Minister in Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Motley. Man, she burned that house. So guys, young people especially, do check out these speeches, do check out these remarks by the world leaders who have really came here on your behalf. Remember, you have voted these presidents, you have voted this prime minister, you have voted these representatives. You give them the permission to represent you. You employ these people. So, and because of that reason, you must be present and you must be aware of what's being spoken on your behalf. It's really imperative. So with that in mind, the Somalis, guys, we want you to come here and share with us. And actually, I really would like to find out from you guys, when your president was speaking, President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo, what is it about the speech that made you guys absolutely go wild on the internet and the social media platforms? Please do share with us. And for those of you who have not followed his speech, it's available on our platform here, but it's also available at the United Nations. So I really, really, really want to strongly recommend that you follow it. Guys, you've got to remember that our lives, the life that you're living today, you are the captain of your own life. You give permission, willingly or unwillingly, to everything that's happening to you. If you opt out from participating to what's going on in your own country, to what's going on in your own community, you're actually giving a silent acknowledgement or silent authorization or silent permission for all those things to take place, whether good or bad. So you can see from those lenses, you absolutely have no choice but to participate. And if you don't participate, things are going to happen with or without you. And with that in mind, my brothers and sisters from Somalia, share with us. Share with us, where did the love come from? And I know that you also just came from some most difficult times in the history of your country, and there is so long to go. But really, share with us the love that you've given to your president. Did he speak your turn? Did he speak the words that you wanted the world to know? How is it that you gave him so much love? And also, for those of you guys who disagree, please welcome here. We want you to express. We want you to share with us. We want you to educate us about your country, about what's happening there, because it's important, guys, that we own our own conversation. Own your own conversation and share with us which one us to know about you. Especially share us your challenges and share us your good things, the best practices, the things of which are happening that are becoming beneficial to you people, so that we can also utilize it all over Africa, all over the world as well. I know that most of you in your whole country, you have so many amazing things happen. So all we want to do is grab a microphone and grab a camera, put some sunshine to that. Show that you can do so much for yourself. We're not beggars, y'all. You're not beggars. So, and those of you guys in Ethiopia, my God, your president, Sahle-Work, she burned that house, y'all. I followed the speech through a translator, and from what she said and from how you all reacted, based on the numbers that we have been reading and looking, you guys show some love. Also, what did the president say that resonated with you? And also, for those of you, especially young people, if you have not followed her speech, I want to recommend that you do go and literally follow the speech. Times is now for us to know what's happening in our own country, in our own respective countries, especially Africa, since it's Africa's State of Union. Guys, really be involved in what's happening in your own countries. I'm telling you, you are the CEO of the countries. The president is your employee. I know it's a little twisted. You have power over your president. You have power over your prime minister. You have power over your representatives. You gotta remember who you are. You've been told that you just gotta sit down and listen in to what they say, but all that power comes from you. So start behaving and start acting like you have power. Follow what's going on. Make sure that you have an input in it. In 2019, we've got to do better. We absolutely have to do better. Do you guys know what they were talking about? The theme of the 74th United Nations General Assembly? I wonder if you guys know. Young people, if you do not know what they were referring to, I want to recommend that you do, because it affects you everyday life. Whether you are in East Africa, West Africa, Northern Africa, South Africa, any part of Africa or the Caribbean or even the rest of the world, these things are affecting you, especially you young people. So if our grandpa, great-grandpa are representing you in things that you have no idea what they're talking about, think about what's coming for you. So be involved. Definitely be involved. So with that in mind, again, my peoples from Zimbabwe, so happened that the first part was about your late president Robert Mugabe, but also your president Emerson Mnangagwa. Somehow, what he said resonated with so many of you. We would like to know, what is it that he said that resonated with you? And also, what, if anything, that he said that didn't resonate with you? Because he was watched by so many of you. We don't know whether it's because you agreed or disagreed with the speech and the remarks that he made. But guys, do share. We want to make sure that we share, especially if it is something that is positive. Let's praise positive things. And if it's something that is also super negative, let's put it out there and absolutely fight against it. Time is done, y'all. Y'all can't just stand still and let people walk over you. That time is gone. If you allow that, you're simply giving the permission for these things to happen. Because at the end of the day, none of us come out of it alive. That's the deal on this planet Earth. So while you're at it, make sure that the quality of life that you live, it's excellent. And contribute to that, and contribute to your fellow citizen, your fellow neighbor. Do right by them the same way they should be doing right by you. And with that in mind, guys, we want to wrap it up. Please do share with us what, if anything, that had resonated from the 74th United Nations General Assembly. Here, we really want to talk about the whole entire African as a continent. And by the way, we realized that so many presidents didn't show up on this 74th United Nations General Assembly. And I wonder, again, if you young people know why they didn't show up. And if they didn't, or if this is actually the first time you're even hearing of this, man, get involved. These things pertains to you. These things are literally driving your life. So tomorrow, it's imperative that you get to know why things are happening in your country the way they are happening. Get to know who's doing what and why are they doing it. It is absolutely your right to know. And if you choose not to know, then also you must accept the responsibility of what happens as a result of you not participating the way you're supposed to be participating. And with that in mind, guys, I want to give you a huge welcome and a huge thanks. Welcome to all of you guys who are just joining us right now, especially joining us from the social media platforms and mobile phones, because you guys are a huge audience. Because we don't have cables in some parts of the world, and we certainly don't have cable satellite in every one of those remote sites. But we know that everybody got a cell phone, and because of that, you guys are the huge target now as far as this conversation. And we know that now we can actually communicate back and forth. So make sure that you hit that WhatsApp number, send us your comments. It doesn't matter what they look like, guys. This is your zone. Remember, this zone, you are the truth, you are the trust, and you are the love. And with that in mind, go right ahead and subscribe, go right ahead and share, and go right ahead and follow, and definitely hit that bell so that you will know next time we put out new information, new stuff, or even if we're talking in real time, we want you to join us. We don't want this conversation to be just one way. We want to share it. And with that in mind, guys, I want to give you a huge thanks. And I want to wish you well on this Friday, September the 28th. I really want to wish you guys to go have a super fantastic weekend. Be safe out there and do what you do best. This is Freeman Singirankabo, your host for the African State of Union, brought to you by the HMG Network right here in the Greater Washington Metropolitan United States. Good night, y'all.